I'm gonna be beautiful. I'm gonna be beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow. Brand new and surprisingly articulate music from Cardi B. Song's called Bitch, I'm Gonna Shit Your Carpet and Cut Ya. Stay with us. Top of the hour, we're going to be joined by celebrity food blogger Sarah Grossman, who's going to share with us a recipe she stole from Epicurious. 3 minutes of commercial-free music coming up, but first, questionable material with Jack and Brian. You are listening to Questionable Material with Jack Helmuth and Brian Sack. This episode, the movies that didn't get made, news you missed, an intimacy coordinator.
What time does this podcast air? That's the
magic of podcast, Jack. It airs whenever the listener wants to hear it. So let's say your name is Brendan.
Okay.
And Brendan
I wouldn't call myself that. That's stupid.
If somebody named you Brendan, you have no choice. If your name is Brendan, you wake up at 4:30 in the morning because...
Do they?
All Brendans do, actually.
Okay.
That's it. You don't know that?
No, I guess I'm dating myself or embarrassing myself.
No, just read more Teen Vogue.
Okay.
So all Brendans get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
They want a podcast because maybe they're jogging to work or they're going to the gym before they go to work.
Can Brendans not afford cars?
No, I don't know a single Brendan who owns a car. It's weird. Isn't it weird?
Well, I mean, it's because it's like red-haired people. They're just contemptible.
We call them gingers, Jack.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend any
proper
any
term.
of the Reds.
So yeah, the podcast can be listened to morning, noon, or night, anytime you want.
But here's the thing. I don't want any Brendans listening to this. So if there's a Brendan,
Jack,
unsubscribe, unreview the podcast.
No.
Give us, I'm not interested in your business.
Why would you declare some kind of jihad on people named Brendan?
Because look at them.
No. You want to appeal to as many people as possible. You want to have a diverse audience. Doesn't matter if their name is Brendan or not. It doesn't matter. I would take a Brendan. I'll take a Bob, a Gary, Wanda, Jesse.
Sure.
Shmuel. It doesn't matter.
All of those are fine, but obviously not Brendan's and Linda's. We don't need those.
Linda McCartney. Would you not want her to listen to this podcast?
Oh, she can't.
Why?
Because she's in heaven.
Nobody tells me these things.
She's in heaven making mediocre music.
Linda Ronstadt. Linda Johnson, the president of the United States.
Yeah, no. Well, Linda Johnson was, we needed her. That was a time when the country sort of needed her after President Kennedy was murdered.
Yeah.
But she's fine.
Yeah. Brendan Behan.
Who or what is that?
Irish dude.
A made up Irish dude? Or
nope. What? Very legit Irish dude.
Not interested.
I'm out of Brendans.
Well, I imagine there are millions of Brendans in this country who do not listen to this podcast, and that's good.
No. I want the Brendans to listen. Listen, if your name is Brendan, we'd love to have you. Don't listen to Jack. Brendans are welcome here. Stop being Brendanist.
That's just the way I am.
Oh, that's just, were you raised that way? Your parents were just anti-Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, I observed it a lot, growing up in my house. My dad would get drunk and just go off on, he'd eat a plate of ravioli and throw it against the wall saying, it's cold. It's all the Brendans' fault.
You blame the Brendans for that.
Yeah.
God, I'm just saying I'm happy to have Brendans listening. Just, you can listen. You don't listen to the Jack parts. Just listen to the my parts.
It still is my name on the podcast, and I don't need those garbage people listening to the show. Oh my God,
stop.
Sorry. So Brian, thanks for having us over.
Jack, what do you mean?
This weekend, when you and your lovely foreign wife had my wife and I over to your house for a overnight sleepover.
TMI, Jack.
How is that TMI?
Why are you telling everybody you came over?
Well, because I think it helps us connect with the viewers to show that, like, wow, these podcast heroes that we look up to they're just like us.
They're human.
They're human like us.
They're human like us.
Yeah, it makes it seem so relatable that we would like hang out with other people. You know what I mean?
We hunged out.
Yeah,
and my wife cooked. No, I cooked. She cooked too.
You both.
I grilled.
You grilled the heck out of those steaks.
That's all I do.
Yep.
But she is a cook.
Well, you also made the eggs.
I made the eggs in the morning. Okay, so I grill and I cook eggs in the morning. Yeah, I grill and I scramble.
Yeah.
And I make Caesar salad. which is a pretty kick-ass Caesar salad.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you like my Caesar salad? Everybody loves my Caesar salad.
Well, if everybody does, then you don't need to ask me. I don't need to answer the question.
I can just tell from looking at you, I'm not exactly convinced that you're sold on my Caesar salad.
I don't need to answer the question because everybody loves it. I mean, so it's been decided.
Did you enjoy it?
I mean,
everybody raves about it.
Well, everybody raves about it. Well, there you go. There's the answer.
From across the political spectrum have always raved about my Caesar salad, Jack.
So liberals and conservatives like that salad?
Yes, it's a unifying salad.
Wow.
Well, I'm a little disappointed that you're not raving about my Caesar salad.
Well, why? I don't need to when you so clearly rave about it yourself. Most of this podcast has been spent raving about your freaking Caesar salad.
It's really good.
So, but thank you for having us up to your house.
You are welcome. You are good company.
Oh, thank you.
My wife likes you and your wife.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Your kids are adorable.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Your kids are good boys.
Yeah.
Your boys, who I've known for a long time and like both of them very much, very different boys in terms of their participation in family events.
Yes. Well, one's a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
15 and 12 are dramatically different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would show up for meals and it would shockingly fast disappear.
The 15-year-old?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. He just doesn't want to be around us oldies.
Yeah.
Or anybody, even the kids, like your kids were like all over him. He's just like, nope, none of this. And,
yeah.
Well, he's also studying for midterms. So I'll give him that. He was dutifully studying.
Okay.
Because he knows if he doesn't do well, he loses screen time.
Yeah, at this age, that's a punishment for.
Yeah.
Okay. So like during that downtime, did you get him like a subscription to Hustler or something?
Is that even still around?
Probably.
Is it really, you think? Paper magazine?
Of course.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because Playboy's gone, isn't it? Or they just kind of, didn't they say they weren't going to do naked ladies anymore?
Yeah, and then they did that for about a year, and then they realized that
we need naked ladies.
That's a good business to be in, the naked lady business.
People aren't reading for the articles? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So they do that. Well, here's the thing that we do so many bits where we pretend we have different jobs, or I'm breaking your apartment, doing silly things. But here's an actual job that I had that probably none of our listeners know about. Along the lines of this Hustler magazine thing, I was the editor-in-chief of Jugs magazine for 7 months.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember you told me that.
That is 1,000% true. I had done a pilot, written on a pilot for HBO. And while we were waiting for the pilot to get picked up or not, my girlfriend at the time saw an ad at the back of the Village Voice for seeking a writer for Jugs magazine, like $32,000 a year.
Wow.
To write. And so she said, you have to apply for that. You have to try and get that job, because just for the stories, just for like the sitcom you'll be able to write from it. So I applied for the job, and because the guy liked that I like wrote jokes and stuff, that he thought like maybe it'd become like a Maxim magazine.
Wow.
I got hired and was the editor-in-chief for 7 months, and I wrote everything. I wrote that magazine cover to cover. So that meant movie reviews.
What's the movie review like? Oh, I give this one 3 boobies. Like, is it?
Yes, I came up with the whole system, but I would do a few things. One, I would just pack it with jokes. So this is true. I once reviewed Gangbang Auditions 9, the movie.
What?
And in my review, I wrote that I saw it as 3 distinct trilogies.
That's really funny.
And then I would do things like I would write fake letters to the editor. And then I wrote a review of the 3rd Harry Potter movie.
Okay.
With the premise of a porn reviewer who's disgusted that there's no sex in the movie. I also had to write model copy. So I had to write in the voice of the women.
Oh.
So,
that stuff was all fake?
Yeah.
My favorite time to make love is the morning. That's why my name is Dawn. Is that that's the kind of...
Yes,
okay.
that was me. But again, I couldn't not make jokes in it. So like I once had a pregnant chick, and I wrote model copy that she didn't know who the dad was. And I made every possible father a member from my fantasy baseball team.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And so we would get, here's my favorite story from when I was at Jugs magazine. We would occasionally solicit pictures from people at home, from regular people.
Right.
And if we use the pictures, they'd get like $300 or something, and we'd potentially buy them. But you had to provide 2 things when you sent in your photos: picture ID,
okay,
that showed that you were of age.
Right.
Nothing matters more in the porn business than
right.
to show you're of age. And the second thing is proof of something showing your address just for legal reasons. That's one
Right.
thing. So one day we got a model sent in pictures. And then, so I looked at the picture that she sent in of her holding the envelope and her driver's license. And sure enough, that's her on the driver's license. And then I looked at the envelope and it was from the bank stamped insufficient funds.
Oh, great.
Oh, the sexiest thing you've ever seen.
Give that $300.
It was amazing. I mean, it was just, it told such a tale with just that one photo.
So 7 months at Jugs Magazine. Why did you leave?
It was just too much. It was, I hated it.
Do you have any copies of this?
My mom recently threw them out and she was just throwing a bunch of stuff. It drives me crazy. There's a comedian friend of mine from UCB who framed my Harry Potter review. She actually hung it in her house because she thought it was so good.
What years was it?
2004. So there you go. That was my job for 7 months, and I hated it. So Brian,
yes, Jack. Oh, there's that grin.
What? This is something that you totally know about and are not making up on the spot. So why are you giving me that look?
I don't know. No reason.
Okay, this is not something I'm springing on you. This is something that's been planned.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
fair enough.
Good. So, did you see the story that came out in the last week? How the leaked version of Colin Trevorrow's completely different version of Star Wars.
There are like 300 versions of Star Wars. Which version are we talking about?
No, so episode 9, right?
Not The Mandalorian.
No, episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker movie.
That's episode 9.
Was written and directed by J.J. Abrams.
Okay.
He was initially not going to do that movie.
Okay.
There was a man, there's two men who were hired to write a screenplay for episode 9. And then one of those two guys, Colin Trevorrow, also was going to direct it.
Okay.
So Colin Trevorrow was hired, wrote a screenplay, handed it in. And like Leia was like a big part of this thing. 10 days later, Carrie Fisher died. He gets fired from the project.
Wow.
And that script leaked last week. So everyone is sort of comparing what would have, so it's a big deal for like something like that to leak.
Right.
Especially with, the Rise of Skywalker being divisive.
Right.
So really interesting to see the alternate version of movies that we love.
Yeah.
And I know this is something that you collect.
This is all coming back to me now.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could talk to me about some of the all-time classic movies and the alternate versions that exist of them.
Of course.
So I know that you found the alternate script for Rocky.
For Rocky.
The movie Rocky, about the boxer played by Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
I was wondering if you could tell us some of the ways that Rocky is different in the version you found compared to what was shot.
In the version that I found, they did not have Sylvester Stallone in mind.
Oh, it's weird that because he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was actually going to be played by Louis Anderson.
Really?
Yes. And there was it was like this story about like kind of a heavy set guy who really wanted to be a boxer.
Uh-huh.
But like, the famous steer scene.
Yeah.
That wasn't in it.
Okay.
He goes to an escalator and he just rides up the escalator. I mean, the music's there.
Yeah.
But it's not as dramatic because he's just kind of going up the escalator and the escalator is kind of slow. And then when he's making his breakfast and he cracks open, eggs and eggs and
all classic scene.
Yeah. And eggs. And eggs and he just fills the thing with eggs.
Uh-huh.
And then adds pancake batter. And then he whips that all up. And then he makes these giant pancakes. There's a whole scene where he's making these enormous pancakes.
Really? And
then eating them. And he's watching boxing on TV.
Okay.
Trying to learn the moves as he's having the pancakes.
So that's how he trained. So he wasn't like a scrappy fighter from the streets.
No, he was from a middle-class household. He was an actuary. So this was kind of like a side gig for him. It wasn't his passion completely.
Uh-huh.
He was called Rocky because his last name was Rockefeller.
Oh.
And he was like a distant cousin.
Oh, wow. So he's probably a little above middle class.
He's just okay.
Okay.
Yeah, his dad made bad decisions.
So okay, so Rockefeller.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So, and then, he falls in love with Adrian.
Yep.
But she's not, she wants to be friends.
Oh.
So there's a scene, the final scene, he's fighting and he's looking over at her and kind of making eye contact and she's just keeps mouthing platonic.
Oh, no.
Yeah. As he's fighting, which really takes the wind out of his sails.
So, yeah.
So he gets KO'd.
Oh, so that's the ending? Is that Apollo Creed knocks him out?
Yeah. And it wasn't Apollo Creed.
Oh, who was it?
Richard Dreyfuss.
And what would that fight be like?
It was more, how you in boxing, you have, the uppercut, and you have the hook and stuff.
Yeah.
It was mostly slapping. So they had the gloves and they would just kind of slap at each other and then back away very timidly and then run in and slap and then back up and kind of do this thing. And, one would kind of block his head as the other one was just slapping and slapping and slapping.
So after the fight, though, was there something that sort of sealed the deal? Like, yo, Adrian, she runs into the ring and then what happens?
Yeah, she comes running back into the ring. And then falls in love.
Oh,
with Richard Dreyfuss.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And there, once again, there's the lesson is like, if don't do it half-assed, you're not going to win. You're not going to get the girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Very different.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that, Brian.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up.
So here's another one that I know that there's an alternate version of that you had bragged to me once that you collected.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how this could be different, but I mean, you tell me. Schindler's List. Very different screenplay, you said. And I was wondering if you could sort of illuminate us about how different that could be.
Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Yes. Just give me a minute to recall.
Yeah, I can see you rubbing your temples to try and recall
what
the
that
events of this
looked
movie.
like. Yeah, so Oskar Schindler, who's a German businessman.
Yep.
Who, sought to make a profit during the war using cheap labor and, but then kind of grew a heart doing it and basically rescued a lot of people. So what he did was kind of, to take people's minds off of the horrors of a concentration camp. He created Schindler's List, which was a list of things you had to collect.
Oh.
And then, the winner got extra rations. So they were basically tasked with going around and collecting things like, maybe like one of those little Nazi pins.
Yeah.
Or an acorn or one of those, something that says Achtung on it.
Yeah.
Like a poster, some flyers that they had around.
Sure.
So it was so you had to gather all these things up and then, present them and then you win.
And remind me again what they win if they solve Schindler's List?
Extra rations, another 100 grams of bread.
Oh, wow. How exciting.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a comedic adventure scavenger hunt movie?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then Spielberg saw the script and felt like it didn't really take into account the kind of the horrors of things. And it kind of made light of a tragedy. So he changed it a bit.
So he decided to make it way less fun.
Yeah. He revisited it again and then he made it about getting the people out of the camp.
Such a bummer. And pre-Spielberg, it was like a really wacky cast, you told me.
Yeah. It was Burt Reynolds as Schindler. It was Oskar Schindler.
Uh-huh.
And Ben Kingsley was played by Ricky Martin. And it was just, it was strange.
That's just strange.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that movie is.
Yeah, I don't either. Ricky wasn't even.
Not even
he'd
that
just
big
be like,
yet.
hey, like that's how he talks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what a fascinating movie that would have been. And then, so do you feel like Spielberg just sort of took that and was like, I'll push my politics on this movie? Or
I think, there's always been this drive to not have entertaining, funny Holocaust movies.
Yeah.
They always seem to want to be dark and, and sad and serious. And I think, Hollywood really shuts you down if you come in with a comedic Holocaust script.
Yeah. God, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It's just, this is why people complain about Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's just sort of the same ideas rehashed over and over again. It's always the Germans. They're always killing the Jews. And it's all, it's like, give us something, give us a different take.
Yeah.
You said you found an alternate version of E.T. I mean, again, another Spielberg film, and that a very, very different version than what audiences fell in love with.
Yeah. So in the original version, E.T. comes and Elliot takes him in, but Elliot starts to develop a rash.
Okay.
And it turns out these aliens carry smallpox of some sort, like a galactic smallpox. Kind of like the Europeans came to the New World, and they brought all their diseases with them that the Indians had, the Native Americans had no resistance to. Well, same thing. Aliens come, and we don't know what they're bringing.
Of course.
So Elliot just sees this adorable little thing, doesn't realize these tiny little molecules that are penetrating his body and eating his cells. And so basically, Elliot turns into a zombie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then proceeds to attack his family, and it becomes a zombie flick.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Back in 1982, that would be a unique take.
Yeah, and he so then it becomes E.T. is on the run. Now he's being chased by
Elliot.
Zombie kids, on a bike, zombie G-men who are coming after him.
Oh, no kidding.
And so he's just like, phone home, phone home, phone home. It's not as adorable when he says it like
it's not at all.
It's a panicked, terrified phone home. But ultimately he escapes and goes back to space.
Oh, well, okay. So sort of the same ending, I guess.
But it's different because he's like, how he has the glowing finger?
Yeah.
In the ending of this, you can see him in the window, but it's a glowing middle finger.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's just pointing it at the earth, and he's just like, you jugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
No kid. That's really interesting. And now ET doesn't stand for extraterrestrial in this. ET stands for, what was it again?
Extremely terrifying.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That's not as fun as extraterrestrial.
Yeah, right.
Huh. In that version, the Reese's Pieces weren't candies. They were just lesions that kept falling off ET.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, they were just like a little bit. That's how Elliot gets the disease, because he sees this little thing on the floor. He mistakes it for candy.
Yep.
And he reaches down, he picks it up, and he crunches it. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's got a creamy interior.
Yeah.
And then E.T.'s like, no, that's pus.
Oh, E.T. says that. That's a straight up line that E.T. says. No,
no, that's pus. He learned
Sonny,
a few words.
Okay.
He's like, no, that's pus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Brian. That's really good.
Thank you for that, Brian.
Here's an interesting movie that was, apparently vastly different. I'm really excited to hear it. The Muppet Movie.
I love Muppets.
I know you do. So I was wondering, so the Muppet Movie, originally, as you know, sort of a whimsical adventure of, Kermit starting off in a swamp with a dream to go to Hollywood. And It's all about following your dreams and winding up in Hollywood and meeting a bunch of friends on the way. It's sort of a road flick and everything. Very different movie originally.
Yeah.
The Muppet Movie.
The Muppet Movie. Yeah. This one, the original version, Kermit works for the mob.
No.
Yeah. And he's an enforcer.
A tough.
He's a tough.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been tasked with whacking somebody. So he does the deed, but then he needs help because he killed Snuffleupagus, who was very heavy. And he has to get him to the desert with his friends and bury the body.
Uh-huh.
So he's basically, a lot of the movie is him gathering his, hey, how are you? And, gathering all his friends and then taking Snuffleupagus, rolling him up in a carpet, and then tossing him in the back of a pickup truck. And then, of course, there's zany hijinks because as they're driving, like the carpet starts unraveling and they're about to reveal Snuffleupagus's body to all the people on the highway. Ooh. So, you have Gonzo and Miss Piggy, freaking out, and Oscar.
And don't they just go on like a killing spree of just anyone who they think might have seen something?
Yeah, well, that's what happens is they're making their way into the Vegas desert and they pull out a gas station and accidentally they notice that the gas station attendant saw Snuffleupagus.
Oh, wow.
So, Kermit takes him out back.
And how do they do it? And what's the most Muppet way they can kill him?
He has an air compressor attached to a piston that he places on his forehead and shoots the piston into his head. It's very painless, but
that's really
but it's
graphic.
Murderous. Yeah, it's murderous, but it's painless.
Wow. And you said you told me that Gonzo goes on some sort of bizarre killing spree. Like there's almost like a 10-minute interlude with like a dance, a song, and a
Gonzo does peyote, which apparently makes him very violent.
Yeah.
And so he mows down this family with his car, and then everybody's losing it. And then Kermit wants to kill Gonzo. Like he thinks Gonzo needs to go. Like he's just
creating
very
more
close.
problems and not solving enough.
Yeah, but Miss Piggy talks him out of it, and he only listens to Miss Piggy.
And what's the intimacy level between Kermit and Piggy?
Oh, Max. Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Max. I don't know what that means. I mean, Max can mean so much. I mean, it's a pig and a frog. I mean,
Right.
how bad could it be?
I mean, they're kind of, they're getting very intimate, and then Lisa Bonet enters. And then the three of them are just a tremendous love scene. Tremendous love scene.
The tremendous love scene.
Yeah.
Huh.
Kermit, Piggy, and Lisa Bonet.
I mean, when Lisa Bonet shows up in your movie, you know.
Things are going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what's the dynamic of that love scene?
Lisa Bonet is his ex.
Okay.
So he had a relationship with her, but then he went to Miss Piggy, but then she's not going to mess with Kermit. She's terrified of Kermit.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
It's an amazing scene.
That sounds really amazing. And you said it's a really zany ending to the movie. How does it all end?
Well, they get out to the desert. They have to dig a hole for an elephant. So, super time consuming.
Always good in movies. Like a time consuming digging scene is usually good film.
But then Gonzo's again, he's on PCP now. So he's down there and he's digging like a maniac. Digging. Hits oil.
What?
Yeah. Oil shoots up in the air and they just look around. They're like, we're millionaires. And they just jump up and down. Yeah, exactly.
The classic Muppet happy ending.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, that's the first movie I'm going to say was better in the original version.
I agree.
But that's a mistake.
Yeah. Huge mistake.
Wow. Lisa Bonet, you said.
Yes.
Man, that is something else.
Yeah.
The movie that launched the most famous smile of the last 40 years, Julia Roberts, of course, in Pretty Woman. The story of Richard Gere meeting a prostitute and taking her in,
right?
And their unlikely comedic romance with co-star Jason Alexander, George from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You got the early version of that screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell.
Pretty Woman. Yeah, the early version. She's still a prostitute with a heart of gold.
Oh, good.
And she still this is her first trick. Like she's still innocent.
Oh, okay.
So she hasn't done anything. And so Richard Gere, they strike up a friendship.
Oh, just a friendship.
Well, I mean, they're getting more, and you can see the romance building.
Mm-hmm.
And then things get hot and heavy.
Okay.
And she unbuttons his shirt
and
pulls his shirt open. He's got giant breasts. He's the Pretty Woman.
What?
Yes.
Oh my
and then
gosh.
you see her eyes. She's like, what? And then she unbuckles his pants and pulls them down. Vagina.
No.
Yeah. He's the Pretty Woman.
Oh my gosh. So crying game.
So it's very crying game. And she's like, whoa. And he's just like, I didn't want to tell you, but I love you. And yeah.
That's a different vibe. So what's her reaction?
Well, she's like, I'm not into girls. I'm sorry, I'm not into girls. He's like, but you love me for me. And she's like, I do, but not, I can't, I'm not, I'm a hooker with a heart of gold.
Uh-huh.
So he winds up becoming her madam. So, now she's working for him.
Oh.
He's running this bordello and she works for him. He's her madam. And she's her madam. And, but there's always this tension because she's in love with Julia Roberts, but meanwhile selling her to to whoever
to actual men, yeah,
willing to pay. So it's very conflicted. It's very sad. At the end, he's looking through the keyhole. She's looking through the keyhole. I don't even know. And there's Julia Roberts with this John.
Yep.
And then Lisa Bonet rises from behind the bed.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And it's just like, she's like, and then you see Julia Roberts go to town on Lisa Bonet. So you realize it wasn't about Richard Gere being a woman. Julia Roberts is just not into Richard Gere.
Oh, that hurts.
And his heart breaks. Her heart breaks. You just see it like, he's just devastated.
Oh gosh. Oh my God. God, Lisa Bonet will do it with anyone on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. The original draft was set at a frat party.
Oh.
And it's basically this guy's tasked with getting Ryan out of this frat party.
Okay.
Because it's time to go. He's making an ass out of himself. We got to get him and stuff. So it's, it lacks a lot of the drama.
Yeah.
And it's basically, about getting into this frat house and finding where Ryan is.
Well, the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan are some of the most compelling scenes you'll ever see in a war flick of the storming of the beach of Normandy. Those first 20 minutes are breathtaking.
Yes.
What are the first 20 minutes of this movie like?
Trying to find parking. It's a huge party. Everybody's parked everywhere. They're all down the street. Some of them parked there's just nowhere to park. So it's just like this really dramatic, tense, like, trying to park. He thinks somebody's pulling out.
Yeah.
But
I know that feeling.
They're actually just backing in.
Oh man, just adjusting the car.
Yeah, they're adjusting the car. And then, and then he sees somebody milling about their car and he's like, are they leaving? I don't know, but he's waiting, but the car pulls up behind him with the lights on. And he's like, come on. And then finally he gives up and goes. Then he sees a wide open space. He's like, oh God, thank God. He pulls in, he sees the fire hydrant.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So it's just super stressful.
Well, okay. So similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
And then there's the challenge of trying to find Ryan without losing your friends in this party. It's a big frat house. There are lots of rooms. It's dark. It's loud. It's crowded. So it's just it's a struggle.
How does it end?
He finds them.
Oh, why is he called Private Ryan in the title?
Because he's very shy. He keeps to himself. He doesn't share a lot of stuff.
So it's just a nickname?
That's his nickname. They call him Private Ryan because he's just like, he's like, how you doing? He's just not a very expressive person.
Huh.
A lot of people think he's autistic, but he's not. He just doesn't have much of a personality.
Okay. Yeah. Saving Private Ryan.
Yep.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for your hard work as a collector of Hollywood history.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing.
As a cinephile, I thank you for.
How dare you, sir?
No, that's not someone who has sex with film. That's someone who a cinephile is like a giant, let's just say a giant fan of cinema.
Oh, okay. That's me.
Yeah.
Jack, there's news you missed.
I doubt that.
No, there is. You know what happens? Every day, every week, every month, it's this endless Trump news cycle. And a lot of news falls through the cracks.
Well, I mean, the first 20 pages of the newspaper dedicated to like the impeachment.
Yeah, but then if you go to 21.
That's all that's happening in the world,
No,
Brian.
that's not true. There's more, Jack. And I find these news stories and I bring them to you.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for that. Well, look, do you have an example of one of these news stories?
Yes, I do.
Oh, could I hear it?
You may.
Would you read it to me?
I will if you would let the music start. A Texas woman is the latest in a string of mothers who mistakenly believe that their child is extraordinary. According to sources, 32-year-old Joanne Belford of Highland Park in Dallas told several mothers in a weekly playgroup that her 7-year-old son Atticus started walking early, talking early, and reading early, when in fact none of the child's milestones were anything out of the ordinary when compared with national averages. Belford also claimed that her child had amazing motor coordination and was musically talented because he likes to hum songs. Other mothers in the group say that they believe Belford's claims are far-fetched and somewhat ridiculous, but they won't address her directly because she hosts the playgroup in her large and comfy family room.
Comfy?
Comfy.
Wait, in Texas, what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know Dallas speak. Oh,
it's comfortable.
Okay.
That's how they say it there.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
That's really the way to make it a regional.
Yeah, no, I like to cater to the directly.
Really good job. That's Atticus, you say?
Atticus.
That almost seems like a name. Don't take offense to this, please.
Yeah.
Okay. It almost seems like a name that you would make up with a contempt that you have for that type of person.
That name is a name I have heard at the playground.
I bet it is. Yeah.
I've heard Atticus. Story. This kid was like, I was at the playground with my kids and this kid was like, Story. And I'm like, your friend's name is Story? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it just like stormed off.
You were so angry you left your 8-year-old boy at the playground. Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite playground name stories. So I hear that this woman's walking around going, Symphony. And I turn to this mom at the playground like, she's named her kid Symphony. And she goes, no, it's Symphony. I'm like, what?
Great.
It's like S-I-N. I'm like, how did that happen? She's like, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know how to spell symphony, but it was like she was yelling. She named her kid Symphony.
I love that the thought that the woman would explain that to you and sort of like roll her eyes and then be like, come on, Jamiroquai, it's time to go.
Exactly. Dasani.
Dasani. Wow, that's a good find, Brian.
Thank you, Jack.
Do you still, so you like you'll search for like the Dallas Morning News?
Any paper, I read tons of papers.
Yeah.
New York Times, Washington Post, Dallas Morning News, Philadelphia Herald 16, Chicago paper, Los Angeles, read them.
The read 'em?
Yeah, they call it the read 'em.
Oh,
that's how they say it there.
Okay. Boy, you sure know a lot.
Portland Times.
The Portland Times.
Yeah.
So it's the Los Angeles Read 'em and the Portland Times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's so many newspapers.
That's really good. Well, I guess that's all the news that we missed. That's all the certainly.
Mother of God, Jack, have you not learned there's always more news?
What?
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
I know.
Tell me more.
I will. A Los Angeles man is reconsidering his political views after being called a libtard on social media. 28-year-old Darren Haynes of Sherman Oaks said that early yesterday morning he issued a tweet saying he felt that the Second Amendment was vague and should be reworded. After a response calling him a, quote, ignorant libtard, end quote, Haynes said that the response by Angry Mike 2293 caused him to reevaluate his stance. Although Haynes says he's not 100% ready to commit to changing his point of view, he does note that Angry Mike presumably had some valid points, even if he failed to share them.
Wow. So I guess people really can make a difference online.
Yeah. You just call people names.
And then eventually they'll be like, wow, I guess you were right.
I mean, if I insult you, don't you feel like, oh yeah, I should see Brian's way?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You big dumb jerk.
I agree that I'm a bad person. See? Oh, wow. It really works.
Yeah. No, that's how it works.
Oh, wow. That's a good find. And that was a Los Angeles man, you said. So you must have found that in the Los Angeles Read 'em.
The Los Angeles Read 'em. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more stories?
Yes. As a matter of fact, there is.
Sweet.
A Roanoke man is driving back from the airport with a woman who does not look like the one he'd been corresponding with. 29-year-old Timothy Cubbins told the reporters he picked up Amanda Bonham at the Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport in person after corresponding with her for several months on Match.com. Cubbins said he was currently driving toward his apartment, grappling with a polite way to ask her why she looks so dramatically different from her online persona. In a statement delivered inside his head, he stated that his weekend plans would probably be altered as he was now hesitant to introduce Bonham to his friends. Bonham was unavailable for comment as she was staring out of the window, trying to think of a way to explain why her profile photos were of her best friend, Diane.
Wow, that's a tale.
Yeah.
Wow. And Roanoke, huh?
Yeah.
A good find. And Amanda Bonham is her name.
Bonham.
Oh, Bonham.
Like
I
John
said
Bonham.
Oh, I thought it was like bottom, like
no.
You have a stinky bottom.
No, Bonham, like John Bonham, who died on puke from drinking too much. Great drummer, though. Led Zeppelin.
There you go.
You know Led Zeppelin.
I know. I've heard of them.
You know John Bonham?
No.
He was the drummer.
Oh, drum sounds. Oh, now I know his work.
Okay. Iraqi SWAT teams apprehended a high-ranking ISIS cleric who had been hiding out in the city of Mosul. Abu Abdul Bari, who is so fat he's been nicknamed Jabba the Hutt and also called a walrus, is responsible for ordering the execution of clerics and scholars who refused to pledge allegiance to the Islamic State. He's also said to be responsible for the destruction of the tomb of the biblical prophet Jonah. Now, because of the extent of his crimes, the Geneva Convention does not apply, and the big fat fatty can be fat-shamed before being hung with tremendous difficulty because he's so incredibly fat. Did you see the photo of that guy?
No.
Oh my! It's like almost like he's like this.
Oh, I did see him. I did see him. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had thrown him in the back of a pickup truck. He was so big.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anyway, he's a dead man
from like diabetes.
I mean, they're going to hang him before diabetes gets him.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's a race too close to call.
He's been sentenced to type 2 diabetes.
Was that it, Brian?
Nope.
How can there possibly be a fifth story?
There is.
Wow.
Are you ready?
I am ready. I can't wait to see which of these we cut for time.
Well, fans of football will be happy to know that Superbowl LIV is right around the corner, and it's going to be Chiefs versus 49ers. Superbowl LIV will take place in Miami, a Cuban city south of Florida. Good luck to you teams, and may the best team get the most points.
Good work? Question mark. So I'm excited because today we have, I think, a really good, timely interview. It's a very 2020 topic. It's pop culture. So I'm very excited to talk to this person.
Yeah.
He works in Hollywood at what some are describing the fastest growing profession in the entertainment industry. Do you know what that is?
The fastest growing profession in the entertainment industry.
Yes, which sounds like a setup to a joke, but this isn't a true thing.
It is opining on politics.
That's an excellent guess, but it's actually called an intimacy coordinator. So these are people who are hired to basically oversee any sort of love scene, sex scene, kissing, anything intimate that goes on a TV show or a movie. An intimacy coordinator comes in almost like a stunt coordinator,
right,
and make sure that everyone is comfortable with what's happening. It's an interesting job, and I think our listeners could stand to learn a lot from someone like that.
Yes.
So you ready to bring him out?
Yes.
Okay, great. So as I said, our first guest is
what you always say first guest, but it's always our only guest.
All right, fine. Our once again only guest tonight is a man named Richard Slade. As I pointed out, he's an intimacy coordinator in. What is that? What is that sound? Do you hear that?
I do.
Should I wait? Is it like a will it pass?
It's a call to prayer, Jack.
Oh. Is there someone in the building who?
I'm being summoned.
You specifically are being summoned?
Yes.
By a call to prayer?
Yes.
Why?
Well, this weekend, you remember when I popped off for like half an hour?
Yeah, you were just gone.
Yeah. I converted.
You converted?
Yes.
From not really much of anything to a...
I'm a Muslim.
You're a Muslim now.
I have converted to the Islamic faith.
What was the conversion like?
It was pretty painless.
Okay.
I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. And they're like, okay, you can do this thing.
So you sought it out. You decided that right before dinner on Saturday night that you were going to convert?
Well, you know, Price Chopper.
Yeah.
Grocery store.
Of course.
So when you go in there, you scan your little keychain.
Yep.
And then this little thing pops out with all these coupons.
Yes.
Well, one of the coupons was $1.50 off a conversion. And so I was like, okay, well, I was looking through my list. I was like, I don't need the Snapple coupon.
Uh-huh.
I could probably use the Lysol coupon.
Right.
Kellogg's, sure.
Some Yoplait.
Yeah, Yoplait I don't do. It's too sugary.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a convert for $1.50 off. And I was like, oh, well, okay.
How much total is the conversion?
$800.
That doesn't seem like that much savings.
But savings is savings. It's in my head, if you're saving something, then it's worth it.
You almost seem like the type of person who would never convert to being a Muslim. That's a strange reason to want to convert. I would think it's fine if you want to be convert to the Muslim faith. I think that's wonderful, but it doesn't seem like you're doing it for the right reasons.
I got to do what I got to do.
Okay, that's the classic religious zealot line.
5 times a day, Jack.
Well, that seems like a lot.
It is.
How are you finding your time with the faith before you head off to prayer?
I'll be. It's honestly, it's a little annoying. I didn't expect it to be this demanding.
Mm-hmm.
There's the early morning one, and the mid and the day, and then this, and then the late night, and yeah, there's a lot in this. It's annoying, but I'm getting used to it.
It doesn't seem like you're into it.
I'm totally into it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you've been called to prayer. What are you going to pray about?
I think today's sermon is prayer is more powerful than sleep.
Okay. Well, good luck. Don't let my laughing at your idiocy confuse the fact that I am really steamed that you would.
I understand.
Find a way to leave the podcast.
I know it looks bad every time. I know.
It does look bad. You don't look professional.
I need to go.
All right. Well, take care of yourself. Good luck with prayer.
All right.
Pray for our podcast.
I will, Jack. Ask a lot of questions.
Okay, I will. Good advice. Thank you.
Shakram.
Well, I don't know what that means.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, it's just me again, but that's going to be okay. You're in good hands, everybody. Like I said, our only guest tonight is an intimacy coordinator who's right now, they say he is the busiest man in Hollywood. He is always working on a different project. Please welcome Richard Slade. Richard, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you for having me.
You are quite welcome. So, Richard, can you tell our listeners what an intimacy coordinator is?
Well, an intimacy coordinator coordinates any potential relationship between two actors in a film.
Okay.
And so what we do is we facilitate these love scenes, if you want to call it that, romantic scenes. And we help facilitate them so that they are, all parties involved are comfortable and don't feel like they're being violated and they're not doing anything they don't like.
Okay. Like, can you give an example of the types of things that perhaps actors raise a red flag to or have been too afraid to raise a red flag about in the past?
Sure. Now, if you have a scene, we go over the scene. If we take the particular love scene, we'll sit down with the actors and we'll say, okay, in this particular scene, Marvin is supposed to touch your bum. And we turn to the actress. We say, Rebecca, can Marvin touch your bum? And she will say, yes, he can touch my bum. And we check that off there's a checklist. It'll say, touch Rebecca's bum. We check it off. Okay, we can check. Marvin can touch Rebecca's bum.
Okay.
And then we go down the list. And then, okay, what comes next? Well, you're kissing. Rebecca, is it okay if you and Marvin kiss? Yes. Okay, we check that off. And then can Marvin use tongue? And she might say, I'd rather not. And then we do the fake tongue kissing.
Fake tongue kissing.
Yeah. You just push your face in harder and you just pretend you're using the tongue.
Okay.
And
so sort of like a vacuum lock of lips, but you can't tell what's going on in inside.
Right.
Okay.
And then there'll be other things. So, there's a scene here. It looks like you're going to play finger bum.
Oh, finger bum.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you will when you see the next Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Which I just worked on.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, and Rebecca might say, I don't wish to play finger bum, or I do wish to play finger bum, or it's okay. It's not okay. So we're all about people feeling comfortable with the scenes that they are performing.
I've read it that it's sort of compared to being like a stunt coordinator, that you sort of coordinate the ins and outs, if you will, of a sex scene, for example. So could you sort of talk about your role in terms of...
Yeah. So a stunt coordinator or a fight coordinator will get in and they'll work with the actors. Okay, you're going to swing your arm here. You're going to block here. You're going to step back here. You're going to run up the stairs and turn here. Same thing. An intimacy coordinator is the very same thing, except we're doing romantic scenes. So, you're going to wink here. You're going to boob squeeze here. You're going to turn to the side here, bum touch, and then turn to the front and, noogie, and then kiss, finger in the nose. Look at the finger, wave. Typical things that happen in a sexual performance.
Okay. I'm now inspired to ask you about your sex life. How's your sex life gone? How many partners have you had? To draw from experience.
I don't think it's necessarily important, how many partners an intimacy consultant has had. Just like a life coach doesn't necessarily have to know how to function in life. Or a psychologist might be crazy. It doesn't really matter.
That's true.
It's what you're doing professionally and how it's working on the set.
So tell me about the next Star Wars film. And it sounds like you're in the middle of a bunch of complicated. I know the fight scenes are complicated. I imagine these love scenes, like this finger bum, is incredibly dynamic. Tell us about some of the cutting edge sex scenes you have coming up.
Well, there's a scene between Boba Fett and a Jawa.
Mhm.
And the Jawa is played by Peter Dinklage. And Boba Fett is played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And they have a scene, and we have to make sure that both actors are comfortable
Mhm.
with the scene.
Mhm.
And the scene involves the Jawa riding naked on the back of Boba Fett.
Uh-huh.
And we had to make sure that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is okay with a man's penis brushing against his shoulder blades.
Mhm. Okay. That's on your checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what about Peter Dinklage? I mean, I
Yes, well, he has to be comfortable with humping the back head of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
mean, who would have a problem with that? That's an honor.
Oh, you'd be surprised. There, people have their different hang-ups and things.
Really?
In this particular case, it seems to be fine. Both actors, we have been rehearsing the scene over and over again.
Really?
Yeah, they've even taken it. They've gone off on their own to rehearse the scene,
Oh, good for them.
and then they report back to me the next day and tell me that it went great, and they're
Mm-hmm.
very tired.
Oh, so they really spent a lot of time rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You must be proud of your pupils at that point.
I am. There was a scene between John Travolta,
Uh-huh.
who plays Jabba the Hutt's great grandson, and a robot, a droid,
Uh-huh.
but that looks like a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to make sure that John Travolta is comfortable, performing sexual acts with what looks like a young man.
That I'm sure he wouldn't be. That can't. How did you ever get him to agree to that?
It took some adjustments for him.
Okay.
He said, "How young is he?" And I said, "He's maybe 27." And
Uh-huh.
he said, "Okay, I guess I can."
Okay. Was he disappointed? Was that too young for him?
I don't know. He just seemed generally disappointed.
Okay. It must have been very difficult for John Travolta to channel this gay side of himself.
I guess. I mean, he seems to have adapted. I mean, he's a good actor, and it looks like he really enjoys that particular role.
Oh, okay.
And he really took to it. He asked us to shoot it several times.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he wanted to try different angles.
From every angle.
And then, he wanted to look at the dailies himself just to kind of make sure the scene looked okay, give his approval on it.
How many days did it take to shoot that one scene?
17.
17 days
Yeah.
for just the sex scene.
I'll be honest, I've never seen him so happy. So incredibly happy.
I mean, that's just a man who loves his craft. That's a craftsman.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. And again, so he plays like Jabba the Hutt's great grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me what his name is again in the Star Wars canon?
Orenthal
the Hutt. And so he's making it with what's the droid's name again? Orenthal the Hutt and
PPBO.
PPBO.
Yes.
The droid.
Yes.
And what does that stand for anything?
Pretty big organ.
Excuse me.
Pretty big. Oh.
It's so Star Wars.
Yeah. I've stuck with the canon.
Yeah, no, you got to stick with okay. And so you were on that, and Travolta was comfortable with everything.
Very, yeah. Very.
Okay. Did is he the sort of actor that comes like with a lot of ideas to a scene?
Yeah, I mean, originally it was supposed to be just a very brief scene, like a quick kiss.
Like just a little peck.
Yeah, between the droid and Orenthal the Hutt. And then he
more in keeping with Star Wars. It's not a lot of focus on romance.
Yeah. And then he took the director aside and said, "I have some ideas. And then so maybe instead of just a little peck on the cheek type thing, maybe, and then that's when it evolved into the 7-page scene that it is.
Okay. And so they just added a bunch of pages. They added about 5% to the script.
Yeah.
Just for a hot droid hump scene. Would you say that's an accurate?
It was more, I mean, it's a romantic scene. I wouldn't call it a hump scene. I think that suggests it's more vulgar than it is. I think it's very romantic. It's very tender. He
What's the most romantic thing they do?
The PPBO has he gives PPBO a back rub. And just it's a very long, sustained back rub with lotion, galactic lotion.
Oh, okay. That sounds outer spacey.
It's very tender. John Travolta is just rubbing his android, and he's an android, but he's really looks human.
Like really human.
Yeah, he looks very, very human. He's really just painted a slight shade of pink. So he looks very human. Mm-hmm. And Orenthal the Hutt rubs his shoulders and rubs his back and works his way down. And the android just keeps saying, "I'm so tense. I'm an android." Oh, I get so tense. I get so tense.
Okay.
And then, he flips him over on the table and then says, "Oh, I didn't know androids could do that." And he says, "Oh, yes, we can." And he says, "Well, what else can you do?" And then the scene takes off from there.
Oh, it takes off from there.
Yeah.
That's the launching point.
Yeah, Mr. Travolta really spent a lot of time working out this scene.
And how much further does it go from that point?
Well, I don't want to give too much away.
No, please do. That's Scientology coming for us.
There's a scene with lightsabers.
Oh, okay. That's more Star Wars. Because I think you're going to lose a lot of fans personally on this movie so far. But that sounds good. That sounds like fan service, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, lightsabers is a euphemism.
Oh. So, and they have you would call it a fight?
I think, it's a little disagreement.
Who wins the argument?
I guess Orenthal the Hutt when he throat fucks the android.
This doesn't seem like my bag anymore. I did not see any of that coming.
Well, the droid did.
There you go, folks. I'll see you at the movies. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jack.
Mm-hmm. No, okay.
Well, it's been a pleasure being here on your podcast.
Thank you.
And I hope to be back many times.
You won't be, but thank you for being here this one time.
Thank you for having me this one time.
Okay. That was Richard Slade, everybody. You can see his work. Actually, don't see his work. I'd like to thank you all for listening. We have the best listeners in the world. Thank you so much for your reviews. Continue to spread the love, spread the word. Thank you. We love you. Good night. Bye.
That was questionable material. Subscribe to this podcast. Visit us at qmpodcast.com. Email us at contact@qmpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter @questionablemat with 1 T.